It doesn't matter how tall or short a man is, he can still see the sky. A very good evening and welcome to the Tony Onying Show. Today I'm here to discuss with you something that might interest you at the end of it all. It won't take us long. Watch your dreams and hold to it. And in this particular situation, I would like to dwell my attention to the school and then to the workplace. That means the audience of those places, you definitely might find this interesting for you to revisit your mind at one point. Now, when a child is born, they have something they cherish. At your different homes, in your different homes, you've seen children play with toys, all forms of toys, cars, humans, guns, and all those kind of things. Then there are also those in situations where you leave your workplace and you find this child has disassembled your microwave and is trying to fit it back. I remember of a little brother of mine who liked opening the radio so much to find out what is making sound there. So if you left your radio there, don't blame me. It was then. Now, why is that very important? First of all, I would like to castigate parents that push their children or back at the kids because they're doing those things. You have no reason as to why a child, instead of going to sit in a basin, would go and pull out your plug, would go and get your phone and throw it in water and begin to wash it. They are curious. Our problem is sometimes we tend to make this curiosity die. As parents, you help these children by killing their curiosity because you are being mean to them. You are challenging them and asking them, you have any clue how much I bought this? They are children trying to navigate the compass of their life. They're trying to identify their true north. And if you look closely to the schools today, the schools that give chances to the children to go and practice, to go and research, these schools are producing more equipped and self-oriented children. These are the children that are going to the best workplaces and changing the face of those organizations today. If you kill the dream of that child when they're young, you're not different from a teacher who asks a child what is the use of a tree, and the child tells you for parking a bicycle. Then the teacher marks this child wrong because he or she did not write what you asked them to write in class. When you get outside, you'll find this teacher's bicycle leaning against the tree. Then you ask the teacher, can I cut down that tree? It's a food for thought. Why don't we give these children opportunities to own their views and give them a chance to practice or demonstrate those views and explain them, but only if we break the bias. Only if we break the bias. I remember delivering a message of this sort a couple of years ago, and then somebody told me a story when we talked about breaking the bias, and this teacher went to class and said he had changed he's now going to give his children the chance to think independently. But you know what happened? He told the children, you can write your points, but don't put them in exams. What did that mean? It meant that if this child does not spend the night cramming what the teacher gave them in class, this child is likely to fail. And with the poor education system, this child will not be taken to a good university and given a good course because he or she simply proved that cramming is not their thing. A few years down the road, you find this child has invented, and you meet this child as a teacher, and you proudly want to identify yourself to that child, and you find this kid saying, but teacher, you did not believe in me. Why now? Why now? These are not mistakes. These are not mistakes. These are realities that we need to listen to. We need to give people chances to do what they assume they can do. There are conditions or situations where we've tried to use the religious institutions, the church especially, to castigate things. A church is a moral institution. It's a moral institution that teaches the children the behavioral patterns and how they're supposed to conduct themselves in the community. Not to kill, not to steal, to respect and to honor their parents. Okay. It doesn't tell you in any point that this child should be restricted from ABCD. Ask yourself, what is the moral aspect of what you're controlling this child from? Let me try to bring you to the context of the workplace, and especially the 21st century. We have situations where we proudly continue to listen to the doctrines of introverts and then the extroverts. We've had all these things come around. We've had people talk about them. We've had them say that, this one is a silent failure. We cannot listen to them. Let them do what they have to do. The question is, how are you helping them to grow? And this goes to the team leaders in the organizations. How much time do you take to understand the dynamics within your team? There is this issue of being self-centered. Team leaders who have become self-centered. Team leaders who have the perception of, we all here working for this organization. We all have to fight for ourselves. I'm not going to fight for anybody. A team leader who utters such kind of a word, there's a problem. If you are in senior management and you hear a team leader talking or something of that kind, go back down and think, call that team leader and talk to them. Monitor the way the team is. You might find that the team is actually suffering. Salary increments, bonuses, all those kind of things. These children, these staff, the subordinate workers are complaining every time. But such a leader will never see goodness in them. They will never go and defend the people. We've had one mistake that some organizations make. We are changing the way we operate. We are changing the way we do things and all those kind of stuff. And you are making your staff whose talents you refuse to understand fit into those points. Then you'll find yourself fighting with this staff member every other time to see that they deliver to your expectations. And yet you are not delivering to the expectations. These are questions You all know, you definitely know what I'm talking about. It is something that we need to think about. And then when we look again into the cycle range of the staff, the subordinate workers, there is this bit of my boss is very tough. This organization won't listen to us. All they think about is money. What kind of mindset is that? I'll tell you one thing. You are what you think. That's a fact. I grew up in a community where there was a saying that, jobs of this kind belong to this tribe, this kind of people. Things like this belong to this kind of race. I definitely faced discrimination. I definitely faced segregation. I remember visiting places and somebody reminds you, black, you're not from our side. We don't like your accent. We can't give you this there. And I said, wait. Now this is the point where we need to think. When you face such kind of a rebuke, how best can you face it? You need to ask yourself those questions. How best can you face it? Most of the times, I have gone to places to conduct maybe a meeting or something of this kind where I am invited on a priority basis as the subject matter expert. I ask myself, do these people really have the moral authority to segregate me or discriminate me? I'm the one with the answer. And I look close to their eyes and say, hey, what you're doing is wrong. You invited me here. You didn't know who I am. You didn't know my description. You didn't know my definition. You are doing all these kind of things. It's totally wrong. If you do that, I'm not coming back here and I'm not delivering this meeting. I'm not doing it. Point blank. You have to defend your position. If you can't defend your position, talk to someone who can help you out. Don't you be alone and begin to curse life and all those things. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Hold to your dreams. Stick to it. Remember, you need to guard it jealously. When I was a teenager, a friend asked me a question. Tony, what would you like to become in this competitive world? And I told my friend, you know what? I want to be the last man standing. I want to spend my time navigating every possibility that is today and that is to come tomorrow. That in the event that they need to throw me out, they need to throw 5 of us out, they will give me a consideration. Because there is something that I'll do that they cannot do. And management will reconsider their favor. And I want to be that person. But then the question is, it's not about being that person. It's about doing what it takes to be that person. Never settling. Never resting. Never assuming that you have arrived. You've never arrived until you have. You have to defend your position. If it means sleeping less, sleep less. Sleep is very interesting. The time when sleep is very sweet is the time you need to wake up and fight for the dream. There was a quotation that the journey of the great men were achieved in a manner that while the comrades slept, they kept moving all over the night. While you sleep, there's someone working hard. You need to compete even with your own shadow because you ain't safe. If you want to arrive and you need to be chosen as the best, You need to prove what you can deliver. You need to erase all those kind of mindsets that my boss is bad, this organization works like this. No one else will take it away apart from yourself. That's a fact. Go into a positivity of the mind. Work closer to your team leader and deliver to the expectation no matter what. Remember the moral aspect, humility, it's a very central point. A boss needs submission. A boss needs submission. And for us as men, sometimes submitting, it's a thing we can easily deliver. It might not be the same thing for the women, except a few, where you don't want to submit to your female superior. You think they are proving a point. You simply have to know that when you're in a place of work, you are in a place of work. If you need to be different, then work hard so that circumstances will change in your favor. That's a thing we need to all think about. It's something that we all need to believe. It's something that we all need to drive. If we don't drive that, who is going to drive it for us? We need to face the reality. We need to stick to it. If it means going an extra mile to sacrifice your learning, do and learn and learn and learn. Do things that are going to count. Do things that may hurt, but at the end of the day, it will reward. That is what life is about. That is what it means to hold to your dreams. So let's not look back. Let's not say, my parents once got discriminated, they once got hated. These are the same people who didn't like them. You can change the narrative. You can change the narrative. So let's stop putting through excuses. Let us fight. Nobody will hold your fight if you don't step forward and fight for it. It's the way to go. It's the way of life. God bless you and see you again next time.